Hi everyone! So, in my epic video, I said that I could do a Why Does No One Remember on literally any Blue Sky movie. Well, I guess here we are. Just saying that, as I addressed at the end of my last video in this series, this is the first episode in which I have never seen the movie which I am talking about. This video is not talking about something I'm nostalgic for. It's not talking about something I at least had experience with in childhood. It's talking about a movie which I knew existed, but fundamentally, before this video, I knew as much about it as, well, basically any of the movies in my last video, which is the rom-com ranking. So, yeah. And just saying that this video is there is a significance to the day I'm, well, hopefully uploading this video, and that is because the Oscars is on the day this comes out. I hope, anyway. I hope I get this out on time, otherwise this section is going to be incredibly embarrassing. But this movie is the first movie in this series which was actually nominated for Best Animated Feature. So, while it is not the only forgotten movie in that bunch, I'm probably going to talk about most of them on that list which were nominated for that award and talk about them. I've never really cared about the Oscars, honestly. I'm probably never going to watch the ceremony, but I just thought it was interesting and wanted to connect it. So, this movie, all I know about it is that it's focused on a bull called Ferdinand, and it's a Blue Sky movie. So, it's a Blue Sky movie. It takes place in the same universe as the Ice Age series. I know that, because as we all know, all animation studios are in their own individual universes. But let's just start getting into it right now. So, it's been a while, but this movie is based on a book. The first time that has happened since Ampoli. It's been a while, but like every single movie before then was based on a book. Now, this book was written in 1936. So, there's a lot of previous adaptations of the movie. There's a lot of audio adaptations, which I'm not going to get into, like a bunch of songs and like an audio recording and lots of recordings. I'm not going to really get into that, but what I am going to get into is the 1938 short based on the movie. That short is made by Disney and actually shares something in common with this with the movie, but it got an even higher acclaim. As again, I'm talking about Oscars here, that this animated short film, also based on the book, made 2 years after the book was published by Disney, weirdly enough, it won Best Animated Short at the Oscars. So yeah, I've obviously never heard of it, but who knows? Let's just get into this short, as I am gonna watch it for this video, because why not? I've reviewed one short for one of these videos before in Alexander, and I hated it. Let's hope this one doesn't go the same way. Let's watch Ferdinand the Bull! So, how was the animated short, you ask? Well, I think it was pretty good for a short film which was made in 1938. I don't think it really needed to do much, but I do think it's a cute little story for kids about this bull who doesn't stick to social norms, is an outcast, and wants to just smell the flowers, but like the world keeps pushing him in a different direction. It's basically like an underdog story of telling you to do that. It's really fun. It's honestly really nice and cool. I like all the characters, even though obviously it's only like 7 minutes. I just love how cartoony the whole thing is, with like the mantra just going on about how awful it is that Ferdinand isn't fighting right now. I mean, it's definitely anti-bullfighting, which I assume was progressive for 1938. I don't know. It's almost, I mean, it's nice. Feel good, you know? And Ferdinand is very likable because of this. And the narrator, I like him as well. I like this short, and I hope the movie can live up to it. If the movie is bad, I'm gonna be really disappointed right now, because obviously if the movie is bad, I'm gonna prefer this short, which sounds like a weird thing to say, but it's true. Especially because, like, with Alexander, it was like a short, and a bad short, and then a good movie. With this one, I really hope it's not a good short and a bad movie. Please no. But let's talk about this. The production, which is usually what we talk about at this portion of the video. We talk about like where it came from, and then how the movie got into production. Usually I just go to the Wikipedia production section, which is usually at least 2 paragraphs long. But this is not long at all. It was reported in 2011 that this movie was going to be made. So this movie apparently spent a long time in production, apparently. But they had acquired the rights to it. But like in May 2013 it was actually announced, but it was strange, you know? I mean, it must have took a lot. I mean, not much is noted on Wikipedia at least, but like it does seem like they spent a while in production, which is okay. So I wonder what this movie can bring to the table. It's gonna be interesting. So, let's just watch this movie. Let's watch Ferdinand, see how it is. So, that was interesting. That was very interesting. Yeah, I don't know what to fully say. What did I think of the movie? Well, in my opinion, Ferdinand is not very good. Yeah, I realize that's not a big statement, but this movie is just not good. I mean, it's not awful, but it's definitely probably one of the weakest movies, one of the worst movies I've talked about on Why Does No One Remember. I wouldn't say it's as bad as something like Planes 2, or even really the Harry Hill movie, maybe. But I'd say it's definitely up there. It's not it's not the worst movie I've ever seen. Mostly because of the first 30 minutes before we get to the thong. That is some really effective storytelling at the beginning with Ferdinand off. Now, I was just gonna say, when talking about the short, which unfortunately is better than this, I assumed at first I was going to feel the same narrative with his father getting, shortly killed off after this. But that didn't really happen. In fact, well, it did focus a lot on the short. They do have shared elements. It's not, perfect. And, Ferdinand lived there his whole life. And, he grew up as one of the largest bulls ever, which is kind of thing. Saw on a bumblebee, which made him think he was, wild bull, but he wasn't. And, he goes to live with a beautiful family. They plaster the girl all over the posters. So I thought this relationship was going to be primarily about Ferdinand and this girl, whose name I can't even remember. But, no, she's only really at the beginning and end of the movie, with a few moments of her looking sad the way through. We obviously do see them bond in a montage. So I got feels a little, but when they reunited. But still, I thought that this was what the movie was going to be about. No, the movie is about something very, very stupid. Well, the plot isn't bad. I have to admit, the main reason this movie mostly sucks is the characters. I think the plot is actually pretty good. The pacing is not good, but the plot itself is pretty good. Now, the plot is bulls are raised to fight humans, and all bulls want to fight except Ferdinand, who just wants to sit there and smell the flowers. And then when Ferdinand gets taken away and but that doesn't happen until much later in the movie. Again, he gets adopted by a new family, but then goes back to the stables. It seems like they added this new family in last minute. Why? Well, because without the new family, what are they gonna do? Seriously, are they just gonna have them be at a random farm at the end? Well, they can do that. They could do that. But, like, Ferdinand getting home after this, it kind of makes sense, but still, I feel like the movie can be told without this new family. Even if I do like the beginning of the movie, with Ferdinand being so happy to see the Flower Festival, it's definitely the best part of the movie. Once he actually gets back to the main farm, the movie takes a quick nosedive. And not because of anything the plot does. The little plot points are still pretty good until later. So yeah, it turns out that if you don't fight, if you don't get to speak a fighter, you get turned into meat, which is sad and like makes sense why everyone want to fight. But obviously, if you know anything about bullfighting, the bull can't win. It is rigged against the bull, or at least it's very rare. I don't know about bullfighting, but like animal cruelty, yay. But so no matter what, they're going to die when they leave. They won't live nice long lives, like at all. But like I like everyone, but I don't like anyone in this movie once we get there. So there are two characters in this movie, two main characters that I like. Obviously, we've got the main character, Ferdinand. He is great. He's a great character. He's very likable, very brave, unsurprising. He's very well developed as a character. And I like his growth throughout the movie. And while he's always still trying to... His view on life is nice. He's just a nice kind of character, you know? Just like a good person. Or a good bull, I guess. Now... whatever everyone else? Valentino is the only other character I like in the movie. He's honestly... Valentine is a good character in the way of things, as I was the exact opposite of Ferdinand. He's the one who believes we should fight at any cost, and his development is also really good as he comes across Ferdinand very well. Now, we're gonna be taught now. Everyone else, though, range from tolerable to super duper annoying. I mean, they're not up with the worst of annoying characters which I've seen on this channel, but none of them are, but they're still. First of all, we have Lupe, who is like an annoying goat who just is basically best friends with Ferdinand right off the bat, just because. We never actually see them have a friendship. It's like a day thing. He's just the only one nice to her, so they're friends now. Yay! I guess. But we don't see them getting to know each other or anything. At least we get a montage with him and the girl. That's a thing. We don't have a montage of these two hanging out because Ferdinand's only there for a day before the matchador gets here. Seriously! And then we have this Scottish stereotype bull, who is just a Scottish stereotype. We have this weird bull who doesn't really have a personality. This annoying bull who is just obsessed with everything and is an idiot, and I thought he died in the middle of the movie, but he didn't, because because it's a kids movie. It shouldn't kill off characters. But I genuinely thought he died, and I was like, wow! But again, that was before I started really disliking the movie. But like, this movie, well, the hedgehogs are also really annoying and like are indistinguishable. I also like Paco the dog, but he's only in like, again, the beginning and end, like the girl and the girl's father or whatever. But another, and then there's the horses, which are just the villain, which are just like antagonists. I don't know. Valentine is an antagonist. There's like lots of antagonists in this movie. None of them scream anything. Like Farmer, the Matador, and everyone else. I mean, I don't know, guys. This movie just really but the story, I was still kinda invested in this movie, especially when we get to like the trophy room and we're seeing Ferdinand be sad at all this. While I hated most of the characters, I was still enjoying the story. And then Valentine's home broke off, and we go into this. So we find out that one of her annoying bulls is still alive in the meat in the chop house, and like, so Ferdinand goes to save him and Valentine, who gets into shot. But then they both, and it's a really long action scene, and then they all get on a get in a car, and then the car goes on, and then they all get out of the car because they're in a traffic jam. What is going on here? That sequence goes on way too fucking long, guys. What the fuck is going on anymore? How are they keeping up? Why are they just going on bikes to get them? Why haven't they called any of the police or animal control, or like anyone? Why are they just chasing after them themselves? This part of the movie makes zero sense in that kind of case. Why are they on bikes and scooters and what is going on? How are these hedgehogs able to drive this car anyway? It's just luck. And this isn't even the end of the movie. The end of the movie is just Ferdinand refusing to fight the Matador again, which is a predictable ending, and it's an ending that doesn't entirely work, but it's okay. Like, he throws the cape, and he just goes around. This movie just flows really well. I mean, goes across a cape. Yeah. I mean, it's just, I mean, why are they all cheering him to let Ferdinand live after? This is the audience for a bullfight. I highly doubt any of them would cheer to let Ferdinand live. Also, how did the girl and the dad know that he was meant to be called Ferdinand in the first place? Was he actually sold to them? It still didn't make that very clear. Who named these bulls anyway? Because, like, are they using the human names for that? And small thing, but some of it still bother me. It's a small thing though. But like, yeah, the end of this movie sort of so well. If it like focused on like the relationship between him and the girl, focused on like the girl getting him back, or them trying to get back to each other, or if the movie didn't have such annoying characters, and like if it was just Ferdinand, Valentina, and like a non-annoying best friend character or whatever, then maybe this could have been something really good. This movie had potential. But as it is, it becomes a movie which is okay, I guess, but it's really just incredibly disappointing. So, let's now talk about the reception. And you could say, Patrick, didn't you already talk about the reception? Wasn't that what the beginning was about? Well, I talked about one element of the reception, not just like in everything. Okay, so in the box office, it was a general success. Had a grossed worldwide total of $296 million on a budget of $111 million. So while it didn't do that well domestically, it did as good enough internationally to buy back its budget. Now Rotten Tomatoes rates the movie as 71%, so which isn't actually that high, but it's still way too high for this movie. I mean, some people. It was in the US and Canada. It was released alongside Star Wars: The Last Jedi. So, it was always gonna have a hard time anyway, I guess. Well, anyway, so it was well received. And again, as well as being nominated for an Oscar for Best Animated Feature, it was also nominated for production design and editorial in the Annies, and Best Original Song in the Golden Globes, and also Best Animated Feature in the Golden Globes as well. The only one actually won was a Humanitas Prize, whatever that is. But yeah, so the response was largely positive and a lot more than this movie deserved. Like in most videos here, I think that most movies like deserve the things. People were a little too harsh on the Harry Hill movie, but that was really like the worst one. And I know I talked about the planes movies being overhated a little. Still, I don't know. In general, I don't like this movie and how it was represented. I could ask, why was it nominated for an Oscar? Why? Why this movie? Why was it nominated for Best Animated Feature? I didn't actually watch many movies then, but why? Well, nostalgia for 1938 maybe, popular book, and it was kinda a popular movie, so maybe it kinda makes sense. But I'm not here to tell you why this was nominated. I am here to answer, why does no one remember this movie? Like, I actually didn't answer that one with the planes one. It was because it was like forgettable, okay guys? And not really much to remember about it. Ferdinand? Well, like planes, I want to say just because it's a bad movie. But I'm actually going to say because it was never going to leave a lasting impact. There's nothing too memorable about that movie. It's just another way of saying, hey, the movie kind of sucks. That's kind of why. While the movie is annoying, well, the movie, in my opinion, is annoying and not a very good movie, in general, I kind of wouldn't be surprised if it was still remembered. I'm surprised of how successful it was. And Blue Sky as a studio, but it was forgotten way before then. And so Blue Sky as a studio had nothing to do with it. I think it was because it wasn't actually as successful as it seemed, plus it was never going to leave a lasting impact anyway, no matter even if it was nominated. So it's really hard to explain, but I think this does just scream forgotten movie that really was never going to have any impact, any lasting impact. So, I hope you enjoy the video. Please like it and subscribe if you did. But if you didn't, please do stuff like leave a hate comment down below. Love to keep the algorithm happy. Now, I'll see you next time.